Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of LANGERR at the mic. It's actually morning, I think, 11:30. Guess it's afternoon if you're in the on the East Coast, the very East Coast in the Atlantic of Canada. But how about them Cowboys? Today we're going to do a live reaction or late reaction to the Cowboys versus Falcons game this past Sunday. If the fire alarm goes off in my building, by the way, don't mind it. They're testing it. It went off. I tried doing this live just now, and the fire alarm went off, and I was rattled because I know what it was, but they're just testing it. So if it goes off, we're going to get through it. And yes, I'm wearing my Dak Prescott jersey today because Dak Prescott played like an MVP yesterday or on Sunday. So we're going to get into that. We're going to get into my game notes here. Again, didn't get a chance to do this yesterday because I was in class all day and then I was on the road all night. So as I was in the car, I was listening to all the post-game shows and reaction, all that. Tried to put everything together and we'll make it happen in this video. I'll try to put everything together in this video. And we'll start by my live game notes from the first four quarters. We'll get through that real quick. And then we'll get into my positive and negative takeaways. First negative and then positive takeaways from this game. Cowboys win 40-39 in a miraculous finish against the Atlanta Falcons. So let's get right into it. Right off the bat, I think a lot of us forget that right off the bat, this game was a punt fest because the Falcons went 3-and-out, Cowboys went 3-and-out, Falcons, I think, went 3-and-out. Cowboys start with the turnovers. We'll get into that in a sec, but those were seemingly the only stops the Cowboys made all game. Was early on in the first quarter when it was a punt fest. 3-and-out Atlanta, 3-and-out Cowboys, 3-and-out Atlanta, back and forth. But then again, Dak started turning the ball over, right? And my takeaway early on was, Tyron Smith was just named or declared out when he was questionable with the neck stinger that he suffered, I think, in practice last week, right? So right away, Cowboys are down their two starting offensive tackles, right? That is one of the bigger, probably the biggest obstacle the Cowboys have had to overcome in recent years, just because, whether Tyron Smith is out, at least Lyle Collins was there on the right side, but never have the Cowboys had both Lyle Collins and Tyron Smith out at any point in the last, I want to say, 5 years, right? Or at least since Lyle got drafted in 2015, because even when he wasn't there, when Lyle was out, at least Tyron Smith was there. And if Tyron Smith was out, at least Lyle was there. So anyway, huge first obstacle. And I think that's what led to the fumbling issues early on, is because, and it was Foyesade Olukun, if I'm pronouncing that right. He had three of the Falcons' forced fumbles, but really, if you factor in the fumble that Zeke did not lose, right? So Zeke fumbled, but it was recovered. Tony Pollard also lost the ball, but his elbow was down, right? And you factor in the faked punt that was turned over on downs because the C.J. Goodwin couldn't catch the underthrown ball by Chris Jones. The Cowboys turned the ball over 5 times in this game. 5 turnovers, if you really think of it, or 6 opportunities for Atlanta turnovers. They got 3 of them. They recovered 3 fumbles, right, and took advantage of 2 missed fake punts. But overall, it was 6 times the Cowboys put the ball on the ground or just spotted the Atlanta Falcons with good field position, right? So, and my question was, why were the Cowboys not getting the ball out quick? Why did it take 2 or 3 possessions for Kellen Moore and the Cowboys offense to figure out, hey, we can't, have Dak dropping back to pass and waiting 5, 6, 7 seconds to throw the ball. He's got to get it out quick. And that's what we started seeing when the Cowboys started moving the ball later in the first quarter and then on for the rest of the game, because the Cowboys were, just getting the ball out quick, right? And with play action and pre-snap motion. We saw a lot more of that, I believe. I was looking for the exact stats, but I couldn't honestly find them. But the Cowboys were, using a lot more pre-snap motion and play action. Whenever they did use play action, it worked for Dak Prescott. But that was honestly the worst first quarter, I think, of Cowboys. I can't think of a worse first quarter than that for the Dallas Cowboys, down 20-0. But at least in the second quarter, the Cowboys were moving the ball, and even throughout the later in the first quarter. But again, they were turning it over by fumbling and turning over on downs, and just spotted the Atlanta Falcons 20 points, right? And putting the defense obviously in really difficult situations. So I don't blame the defense so much early on, maybe for that complete missed play to Hayden Hurst, where he just was wide open and just waltzed in for a touchdown. Sure, okay, blame the defense there. But early on, I can't really fault the defense too much, because they put the offense put themselves in terrible positions, whether with fumbling 4 times, right, or 5 times, right? They lost 3 fumbles, but really it was 5 fumbles, right? That they or 5 times they put the ball on the ground, right? And yeah, so I don't really fault the defense in those instances. It should have honestly even maybe been more than 20-0. It could have been 28-0 or 31-0 if you really think of it, right? So that isn't so much on the defense early on, but the Cowboys were moving the ball offensively, but then that's where the defense just couldn't stop the Atlanta offense as the game went on, right? And but luckily the Cowboys offense just was clicking. They're the high-powered offense we all expected them to be, right? They went toe-to-toe with the Falcons, right? They were coming back into the game, right? At one point, it was 29-10 at half, but they came within 29-24 at one point, I think in the third or fourth quarter, right? And then there was that Julio Jones drop. How that like Julio Jones out of the hundreds and maybe even thousands of balls that he has caught over the course of his career. I'll look it up for you exactly. Julio Jones all-time stats. So of the where can I look at this all-time, right? I don't like doing this here. He has 808 career receptions. Julio Jones does. He has 808 career receptions. I don't think if he has 808 more passes thrown to him, right? And there's one as easy to catch like that play in the third quarter, right? I don't think he'll ever flat out drop a pass like that again. Julio Jones won't ever drop a flat out a pass like that, right? And yeah, I can't fathom how Julio Jones dropped that. One of the many breaks the Cowboys had. And also I forgot to mention Takk McKinley went out for the Falcons, right? He got injured, and I think that was a huge break for the Cowboys offensive line. And what we saw throughout the rest of the game, look, the defense just can't be trusted to make big plays in this game. They had no answer for the Atlanta passing game, whether it was Hayden Hurst or Calvin Ridley or Russell Gage. Third downs, they just couldn't get off the field throughout the game, right? And then what else I want to say just quickly in my notes. So yeah, just defense could not be trusted. There was also a play where, there was a Cowboys sent a 3-man rush, right? So if you think of a 3-man rush, that means you have 8 guys back in coverage. But on that particular third down, Russell Gage had no one covering him. It was third and I want to say 5. It was third and short, or third and medium, right? Cowboys send a 3-man rush. So that means you'd think everyone else would be covered, but Russell Gage found himself wide open for a conversion over the middle. That's why I didn't like. That was in, I think, the fourth quarter, right, when the Cowboys just could not stop Atlanta. And I don't know if that's when they got one of their field goals or another touchdown. But anyway, just the what's it called? The Cowboys just couldn't stop Atlanta at that point in the game. But at least, you know what? Atlanta was stupid, and they went for 2 early on, right? They wanted to make it 28-7 early on, but then you had that Julio drop. You had the Atlanta Falcons on the onside freaking kick, not trying to recover it, right? And that just gave the Cowboys a chance, and also the Everson Griffin sack, right? The garbage time sack, right, by Everson Griffin, right? That gave the Cowboys a chance to now come within a score, within 2 points, right? And then miraculously recover the onside kick to go up and win 40-39. So, and at the point where I thought the game was over and the Cowboys missed that 2-point conversion. I really did. I completely, I disagree with that call. We're going to get into that a little bit, but I really don't like that 2-point conversion call, and I'll explain why in a bit. So now let's get into my big picture notes. That was just, overall my little game instances, but let's get into big picture notes, and let's start with the bad things that I saw in this game, because this game, right, if it wasn't for the miracles, later, like in the second half and at the end with the onside kick and all that, this game was a terrible game for the Cowboys if it wasn't for all the amazing things that happened later on. So let's get into the negative things, right? So I would say the only real stops the Cowboys made on defense, right, where the Cowboys forced the Falcons to punt and not drive the field and score a touchdown or kick a field goal. There was a great coverage play by Jalen Smith on Hayden Hurst early, and an almost pick by Darryl Worley early on, again in that punt fest early on that a lot of us will forget about. But I think those are the two of the only clean stops the Cowboys had, and then the Everson Griffin sack later on in the entire game. So let's say 3 times the Cowboys really stopped the Atlanta Falcons offense in the entire game, right? And I, like I said, I think the turnovers, man, just like you can't put the ball on the ground 4 times. 5 times if you count the time Tony Pollard had his elbow down. So the Cowboys put the ball on the ground 5 times and then called 2 fake punts that got turned over. So that's essentially 7 times the Cowboys gave the Falcons an opportunity to get really good field position off turning the ball over, right? And like I said, worst first quarter in Cowboys history. At least the amount of time that I've been a Cowboys fan, that was probably the worst quarter that the Cowboys have had. I mean, if you think back to the Denver game, right, in 2017, the Philadelphia game at home in 2017, like there were some really bad quarters there too. But I think overall, 20-0, you put the ball on the ground 5 times, right? Or put the ball on the ground 4 times and call a missed fake punt, like to spot the Falcons 20 points. Like, I don't know. I was just bad. And here's another thing I didn't like. So the Cowboys secondary was bad. We all know that. Cowboys secondary was just bad yesterday. Cheeto, for some reason, never looks at the ball, I find. Jordan Lewis, yes, is his first game back from injury. He got burned a couple of times. Trayvon Diggs was the best corner on the Cowboys in the Cowboys secondary, was Trayvon Diggs. But here's what I don't like, though. Why are you putting Trayvon Diggs one-on-one, rookie Trayvon Diggs one-on-one against Julio Jones? Why? Because every time we saw that, Matt Ryan saw that, and he exploited it, right? Or Russell Gage saw that, and he exploited it, and Julio beat him. Yes, Julio only had, I think, 2 catches for 5 yards or whatever it was. Again, just going to get this right. Give me a quick sec here. So Julio Jones was contained to the tune of, where do I go here? Julio had, yes, only 2 catches for 24 yards, right? But Calvin Ridley went off for 7 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and the Cowboys had no answer for him. So, yeah, secondary needs to be a lot better, right? And then the pass rush. The pass rush was very disappointing, you know? I mean, where DeMarcus Lawrence, right? You got your money, right? You're an emotional leader on this defense, but he was invisible yesterday. He was on a milk carton yesterday because he made 2 plays early on in the running game, right? Stopping the Atlanta, I think it was both Ito Smith and Todd Gurley made 2 plays early on, stopping them on the run, right? But after that, DeMarcus Lawrence was invisible. And that was just the story for me, at least on the defensive side. The Cowboys just could not get off the field on third downs. They were brutal on third downs. Atlanta went 8 for 17 on third downs offensively, right? And 2 for 2 on fourth down. So if you factor in the 2 fourth down successful attempts by Atlanta, that's 10 for 19 on opportunities to get off the field for the Cowboys defense, where the Cowboys did not get off the field. 10 out of 19 times the Cowboys did not get off the field, right? They had no sacks, no turnovers until the last 4 minutes when Everson Griffin finally got to Matt Ryan, right? And so just the defense is a huge problem, right? Although I'll get to my positives in a bit, right? But overall, defensive line, pass rush, and secondary backbreakers for the Cowboys in this game. And then the coaching decisions. Let's make this a segue from positive to negative. You know, talking about what I don't like it with these Cowboys coaching decisions, and talking about what I do like, right? So, what's it called? So let's start with the fake punt early, right? I agree with that. Fake punt early, right? In the game where you're down, I think it was 14-0. You already turned the ball over. You feel like the Falcons are just about to blow the doors off, right? So you're trying to buy an extra possession, right? I like that decision for the fake punt, but poor execution by Chris Jones and CJ Goodwin on that play. Chris Jones had to make a better throw, but since he didn't, CJ Goodwin had to pick him up and make a good play by catching it. So, I mean, the play was there. The opportunity was there. I like the call, but just poor execution. But then the fake punt in the fourth quarter. Just send the offense back out there. Mike McCarthy, Kellen Moore, put the ball in the hands of Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Maybe not Zeke because it was 4th and 5 unless it's unless it's in the passing game. But put the ball in Dak Prescott's hands on 4th and 5. If you're gonna go for it at that point of the game, just let the offense friggin' do it instead of Chris Jones or CJ Goodwin or I think it was Donovan Wilson who picked the who got the direct snap and tried. Like why are you snapping the ball -3 yards to gain +5 yards or 8 total yards on that special teams play? I don't agree with it. Yes, they had the hat count advantage, but just put the ball into the hands of the players who get paid to do so, right? And not your special teams guys. So I agree to go for it at that point, 4th and 5 in the fourth quarter, right? When you're down, right? But just send the offense back out there. And then going for 2. Now, analytics say, so I understand the analytics aspect of going for 2 when you're down 39-24, right? 39-24. I understand going for 2. You want to get your information early, right? But my question to those analytics people out there is, how does getting your information early help? How does that help you, right? How does that, what difference does it make if you miss the 2-point conversion with 4 minutes left versus 3 seconds left or 10 seconds left? You know, to me, it's like, okay, sure, it all worked out. Cowboys won. They got the onside kick. But what were the chances of the Cowboys recovering that onside kick with no timeouts left, right? Or with 4:52 left? If you're going to be down 2 scores, right? And you haven't stopped the Atlanta Falcons all game, right? How are you going to expect to get the ball back like that, right? And get that extra chance to score, right? With 4:57 left and I think the Cowboys had like no timeouts left. So to me, right, yes, I understand you want to get your information early, but to me, it's a very small, gain or chance to recover that onside kick and get the ball back, right? And the Cowboys pull it off, but it was a it was by the skin of their teeth that they pulled it off. So I know Mike McCarthy overall that's what Mike McCarthy is going to be. That's what this coaching staff is going to be. Aggressive play calls, analytics. Overall, I'm fine with it. I would say for the most part, the only 2 things that I really didn't like, right, were the the 3 things: fake punt, the sequence, the play call sequence to go for it in the Rams game, right? So I like it overall, but what we need to see now is that the Cowboys need to execute these play calls, these aggressive play calls, right? They have to be executed, because if you look again at the Rams game, the 3rd and 6 that the Cowboys didn't pick up, they didn't pick up the first down there, right? So they tried to throw it to CeeDee Lamb, who went short of the sticks, turned the ball over on downs. They could have just kicked the 3 points and gotten the field goal, right? So just execute that, right? You're going to call a fake punt down 14-0 in the first quarter, right? Execute that, right? You're going to go for it on 4th and 5, right? And try to pick up a first down when you're down late in the fourth quarter, right? Put in the hands of your offense. Let the offense do it. You're going to go for 2 when you're down by 2 possessions, right? When you're down 15, you're going to go for 2 with 4:52 left in the game instead of that on the second touchdown that you're going to get. Make it. Just make it. Don't let Zeke in on a jet sweep, right? Like that. Just either plow it right in or put the ball in Dak Prescott's hands. Just execute. And one more thing I didn't like, right, before we get to our positives, right? One more thing I really did not like is when the Cowboys overcame all the odds to be in a position to now kick a game-winning field goal, right? I think there was 50 seconds left when CeeDee Lamb made that unbelievable play, right? Just completely juking out the Falcons defender on his out route. He faked the in, went out, maybe a bit of a push-off, but it was more of just the Falcons defender had his ankles broken. CeeDee Lamb made an amazing play, didn't go out of bounds, but got into field goal range. Excellent. But now there's still time on the clock to move the ball and make life that much easier for Greg Zuerlein, right? So why are you risking? Why are you going to make it with time left and no timeouts? Why are you making Greg Zuerlein kick a 42-yard kick or a 43-yard kick instead of a 33-yard kick or a 23-yard kick? I would have liked to see the Cowboys maybe move the ball a little bit more. And I understand you can't take a sack. There's a lot of risk because you don't have any timeouts left. Fine, right? But I would have liked to see the Cowboys manage that last second play a little bit better and give themselves a bit more of a chance to win. But you know what? Greg the Leg for MVP with that onside kick. Greg the Leg, right? With that 40-plus yard attempt to win it, right? It all worked out in the end, and I'm happy about that. So let's get to the positives now. We talked about the bad stuff. Now let's get into the good stuff. So, Dak Prescott, man. What else is there to say? Just Dak Prescott, okay, maybe you don't take him over Lamar Jackson. Maybe you don't take him over Russell Wilson. Maybe you don't take him over, who else was it? Patrick Mahomes, of course. Maybe you take Deshaun over Dak. I don't know. But apart from those 3 guys, Russell Wilson, Lamar, and Patrick Mahomes. Who's better than Dak Prescott right now? Right this second, who is better than Dak Prescott? Drew Brees, we saw yesterday, and week 1. Drew Brees is Drew. He's experienced. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's had a lot of success in his year and in his career, and he is a top 5 quarterback of all time. But right now, is Drew Brees better than Dak Prescott? Right this second. Today, on September 22, 2020, is Drew Brees a better quarterback than Dak Prescott? I don't think so. On this, like right now, with what they're capable of right now, right? It's like, can you say that like Joe Montana is not a better QB than Dak Prescott right now because Joe Montana has been retired since the 90s, right? So right now, I don't think there are. I think there are 3, maybe 4 quarterbacks that you take over Dak Prescott in this NFL. Maybe Matt Ryan, maybe. I don't know because, I feel bad for Matt Ryan because he's been on the 28-3 Super Bowl, the 20-point, deficit that the Cowboys came back from here. I feel bad for Matt Ryan. But anyway, let's keep talking about the Cowboys. All the awesome things about the Cowboys. That onside kick by Greg Zuerlein, everyone, a lot of people are saying that the Falcons, yes, they had 4 defenders or 3 defenders, right? All that could have jumped on the ball before it passed 10 yards. But to me, the fact that they didn't want to touch the ball just shows how good of a kick that was, how good of an onside kick that was by Greg Zuerlein, which I don't think Kai Forbath and I definitely know Brett Maher couldn't do, and I don't think that Dan Bailey could have done that type of kick that Greg Zuerlein did, because the fact that the Falcons didn't want any part of it shows how good of a kick it was, because I believe if the Falcons touch it before it passes 10 yards, it becomes a live ball or could bounce right back to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys could easily recover it. So I put that, yes, people are saying the Falcons lost, the Falcons blew it, blah, 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 blah. But to me, that onside kick was that just was such an amazing onside kick by Greg Zuerlein that the Falcons wanted no part in trying to recover it because they were afraid that was going to bounce off them. The Cowboys would recover it easily off a bounce. So, yeah, huge credit to Greg Zuerlein. Earned his contract in this game alone. And then Ezekiel Elliott, man. I've been a critic of Ezekiel Elliott all offseason, wanting for Zeke to break off a couple more explosive runs than he did last year, right? But you know what? Through these 2 games, even though Zeke hasn't done that, he's earned his paycheck in these 2 games in other ways by blocking, by taking 2-yard gains, turning 2-yard gains into 5-yard gains, turning 4-yard gains into 8-yard gains or 9-yard gains, right? Friggin' trucking defenders on the goal line, right? Running with a vengeance, right? Besides the fumbles in this game, yes, he fumbled it, but you know what? He's been earning his paycheck so far in 2020. Ezekiel Elliott has been, and he's got to keep it up. So kudos to Ezekiel Elliott. While the third downs were a huge issue on the defensive side, Cowboys were much better on third down on offense, going 7 for 13. That was a huge improvement, right? And like I said in the preview for the last 2 games, the Cowboys are going to win by exploiting it with their passing game on offense, right? And they did exactly that, right? The Cowboys, I forget, was it Keanu Neal that was injured for the Falcons in the secondary? But we saw Russell Wilson and the Seahawks put up 38 points on that secondary last week. So the Cowboys, over the course of the game, exploited as well because, like I said, Dak becomes the first player with 450 yards passing and over 400 yards passing and 3 rushing touchdowns, right? Oh, and by the way, one more thing about Dak. So what I love about Dak that I don't think Carson Wentz or not many other quarterbacks in this league would be able to do is take a huge hit off take a late hit, right? After throwing a pass, right? Take a late hit and get hit in a hit to the head or a situation where he has to be evaluated for a concussion. So he goes into the tent, and then 2 plays later, they're calling a QB sneak. Go run into the 20 guys on the goal line and try to plow it into the end zone 2 plays after getting evaluated for concussion. I don't think a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL would do that. At least a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFL would do that. Definitely not Carson Wentz. So just pay Dak already. Just pay Dak. I could talk about Dak all day. But again, Dak was a huge part of the passing game, of course, with those 450 yards passing, including a bomb to CeeDee Lamb on a free play and on that first drive of the second half. And to Amari Cooper, of course, that slightly overthrew it a little bit, but Amari Cooper made a great play to get that hand on it and concentrate on bringing it in for a big gain as well. Right? Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb both had over 100 yards. And another whipping boy, Dalton Schultz, who I've criticized a lot after, those big drops from last game, right? he turned it around. He even fumbled early on too. And I was like, I had enough with Dalton Schultz at one point in the second quarter. But you know what? Give him and even Blake Bell some credit for making some big plays, including that, he caught a touchdown. Dalton Schultz did. And Blake Bell had a really nice tiptoe catch along the sidelines in the, I think it was the going this way. So it must have been the fourth quarter. Yeah. So the tight end spot was not a weakness for the Cowboys in this game. And also we learned that the Cowboys are capable. I mean, again, Pat McKinley was out, but they can move the ball. The offense is just that good that they can move the ball without Tyron Smith and Lyle Collins, right? They can do it. Will they do it against stronger fronts and over the course of a 16-game season? Probably not. But they have the pieces to overcome injuries to their offensive line, right? And you do that by getting the ball out quick, right? You got to adjust. You can't have Dak drop back and wait 10 seconds to find someone deep. But what you can do is, like we saw today, play action, right? More motion, more jet sweeps, just mixing it up a little bit, right? Screen passes, get the ball out quick. You got Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, right? Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. You got guys that can make things happen when the ball's in their hands, right? So just get it to them, right? Don't let Dak sit back there for 10 seconds and get his head blown off, right? Get the ball out quick. If you don't have the time to throw the ball deep, and the Cowboys did even manage to throw the ball deep, right, in this game. But yeah, just get the ball out quick, play action, screens, pre-snap motion. We saw a lot more of that today, and that's why I think the Cowboys moved the ball to the tune of 570 yards of offense, right? And there was something, in the up-tempo, of course, right? If you can't move the ball, under conventional, huddle up, get to the line with 20 seconds on the play clock and snap, right? Just up-tempo it. Fast. Hurry up. Because you get into a rhythm and you move the ball and it works. So just do it, right? If you need offense, just do it, right? And as bad as the defense was in the secondary and the defensive line, the linebackers were much better in this game compared to the LA Rams game. Joe Thomas was one of the best players for the Cowboys. Joe Thomas, Aldon Smith, and maybe you could also say, who was it again? Aldon Smith were some of the best players were the best players in the Cowboys defense in this game. And Jalen Smith had a much better game than last week as well. He wasn't great. He wasn't as good as Joe Thomas in my eyes this week, but he was definitely much better than he was last week. And that's, I guess just says more how bad he played last week. But just to put it this way, I believe I saw somewhere that the Atlanta Falcons had at one point a 99.9% chance of winning this game at one point in the fourth quarter. I guess it was right before the Cowboys drove the field to score, right? They had a 99.9% chance to win this game. They scored no other team has scored over 39 or more points, and not turned the ball over and lost. So teams that scored over 39 points and had no turnovers in the game were 440-0. They're now 440-1. Let's bring on Seattle. Week 3. Going into Seattle against Russell Wilson on Sunday night, man, who just friggin' balled out against New England there, and he had to because Cam Newton and Bill Belichick weren't going to go down easy, and it took a huge play on the goal line. Of course, ironically, it seems that every Seahawks Patriots game comes down to a game on the goal line, but bring him on. Going up to Seattle at 1-1 after a win like that versus 0-2, huge difference. Am I going to pick the Cowboys to win? I don't know. I picked the Falcons to win this one, and I was almost right. So maybe I won't pick the Cowboys again, but we'll see. It'll be exciting. We'll be cheering them on for sure. How about them Cowboys? How about Dak Prescott? Dak for MVP. And we'll end this video here. This has been a Langer at the Mic live late Cowboys post-game edition. If you like my commentary, then as usual, subscribe to my channel, like this video, follow me on Twitter or Instagram. Links in the description below. This has been a Langer at the Mic live Cowboys post-game edition. Thank you for watching, and see you again next time.